Steve, were you always athletic, or what's your background?
Not
Maybe you
gonna
can.
look athletic. No,
You do look athletic, actually.
I was like a fat kid. I mean, I wasn't like the fattest kid in school.
But you were chubby, or?
Yeah, chubby. And like now, I would be considered skinny. Anyway, I was not super athletic. I was more into like Dungeons and Dragons and chess. And yeah, so I don't know, I played football, played basketball, but I was never very good. And so when we first discovered climbing, it was neat because I think part of the analytics of it and the adventure aspect of it appealed to me because it wasn't just a physical sport like I was saying earlier. And then the physical part came with it. Like the guy that taught me to climb was a top level climber. Just really fortunate for me that this guy was living in Casper at the time.
Who was it?
His name was Steve Bechtel, and he was one of the top climbers in the country at the time, and was just like an out-of-work oil worker that was doing time at the climbing shop there. And so he basically, he needed somebody to climb with, and that's how he started climbing with me. Put up with me for all these, hard ascents that he was doing, but he basically came out and said, "You're too fat and weak to be a good climber." And he said, "You need to do 100 pull-ups a day until you're strong enough and skinny enough to go climbing." And so this was like when I was 16, the summer of after my 16th year, and so I was like, okay, I can only do one pull-up, and he's like, well, do 100 sets of one.
That's great.
And so started hammering into that. But like over that one summer, I lost about 30 pounds, got about 4 inches taller, and really transformed into being able to rock climb. And so that was kind of cool. It was a nice change for me.
So, do you have mentors, both personally and professionally? Yeah,
well, like I said, Steve Bechtel has always been a good friend and advisor to me, and he still, like the training stuff we talked about for climbing back in the mid-1980s is super valid today. I mean, he was really ahead of the game, and so still in business and in a lot of other things, he's my go-to guy. As far as training goes, I again got really lucky and got in with a guy named Neil Anderson, who's one of the top strength coaches in America, who just happened to be in Utah at the same time I was there. And he's got a place called Ozone Fitness now, and those guys are really producing a lot of stuff, and a lot of what he does, we replicate here. And so as far as climbing and training goes, those are definitely my two mentors.
That's great. You read a lot too, right? I can vouch for that. You're always reading.
Yeah, and it's funny, like I read a lot of the training books, and like basically every single one I've ever found, I've tried to read. Because as you advance as an athlete, like the first book I ever read on weight training was like this huge revelation, but then each one that you read, you learn less and less and less. But each one has something valuable in it, even if it's like only one line that you take forward, it's worth reading that book. Right. And I'm a real believer in continuing education. I think that a trainer should probably spend 8 to 10 hours a week on personal development, whether it's learning movement in the gym or learning physiological things, exercise, things like that. And then for Ellen and I now, we spend a lot of time learning about business and how to operate a business effectively, which has got really cool parallels. So.
Yeah, well, that's